The one thing we will never allow anyone in the world to interfere with is our sovereignty.
And I want to appeal to all of you here that we should not accept the intimidation which is coming from the Western world to us as a country.
To manage our minerals correctly so that they are not plundered by those from outside our region and continent.
Africa is a hub for natural resources. It has always been for the West. And now Africa has multiple options.
They should not allow another person to give them a prescription of how Africa should look like or what we need in our Africa, because we know what we need in our Africa.
30 million euros that is going to release to the French diplomatic missions to kick off the implementation of this policy. But what is 40 million?
That you're going to be blocked from going to America. Do I need to go to America?
It's a legitimate question because indeed there are many things that are going wrong which are not being attended to.
The United States must understand that Africans are not going to take it anymore.
You know, they are blaming France for all the problems in Africa. We are responsible for everything. I mean, France or the West.
Africa have it all. Africa have diamond. Africa have gold. Africa have cobalt. Africa have titaniums. Africa have uraniums. Africa have it all. In a brief, Africa have something which the entire world they are looking for today. Just because of what Africa have. It is what it had caused them to be living a miserable life. It's what it has made Africans to be having a lot of enemies around the world. Now, in order for these people to come and benefit from what they are looking for or what is found inside Africa borders, they have to come up with a different kind of strategies on how they can be able to get or to put their hands on whatsoever belong to Africans. Because in the world of today, you can't pretend to colonize a country physically as they used to do it back in days. So they have come up with a new strategy of pretending to leave Africa physically, but not economically. So they hold the economy of Africa, the development of Africa, in exchange of what? In exchange of Africa mineral resource. Now, they are coming with different ideas, different kind of sanctions on Africa continent so that you have to do things according to their choice, according to their own willing. And that's what they've been doing, or they've been using this method for many years. America is well known today as the world's biggest economic country, where everything's just going so fine for them. They have, I don't know how many companies which are resisted over there. But yet, you find out that these people, they don't have whatsoever Africa they are having. They don't have the minerals which are found in Africa. They don't have petrol. They don't have anything like that. But yet they are in the possession of all these things. How did they manage to put their hands on this all natural mineral resource? Well, they do all these things just because they are actually trying to impose their leadership to each and every country around the world, especially to the one of Africans. Since they know very well that it's impossible to go in Africa and colonize them physically, well, they're kind of like trying to come and try to colonize Africa mineral resource. That's why you find them everywhere and every time, whenever there is elections which is taking place in one of African countries. They are the first one to jump in the front line in order for them to come and say that, no, you don't respect the human right. No, this election should be fair enough. And no, this election should be like this. No, blah, 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 blah. They want to come and give you the lesson on how to live in democracy. Just to find out that actually that the one who always come up with a trouble. Why is it every time in Africa countries where you find Africans, they are fighting after the elections? There will be those who are celebrating, and there will be those who are busy contesting, saying that the elections, it was not fair enough. Do you know why? Because it is this same Western, who usually come and jump in the front line to choose who can be at their service. A person who can be there to protect their benefits. A person who can be there to sign certain kind of contract which suit them very well. Contracts which won't benefit people of that African country, but contracts which will benefit the Western. So, if it happened that their candidate did not pass or win the elections, that's when you'll see they'll do everything in their power to put all the necessary money down in order for them to bring certain kind of trouble, which will bring instability. And once they bring this instability, the next things, it will be all about you guys to go and try to negotiate. Negotiate what? No, we have to negotiate to the dialogue so that we can see on how we can shape power. Why? Because they want to have their piece of cake being brought to them by their delegates. Of course, this dialogue, it is something which will take place among people of that nations. But in the reality, among those candidates or those participants, there will be those who will be representing the Western. And that's how things have been happening for all these years. You guys, you are seeing all what is happening in Mozambique. Was there any need or any necessary point for the election to be having that kind of trouble as we are seeing it right now in Mozambique? No. Why? Because, again, there is something which is not sitting up well here, which is these people that are trying to either protect their candidates and make sure that by all means this person should be well protected so that it should not be touched by anyone. And when things goes wrong or goes in the upside for them, that's when now they go insane and they get angry about the whole situation. So you understand that this is how they've been trying to do all these years, to bring all this kind of instability in Africa, to put sanctions on Africans. Whenever they'll ask you something, if you don't do it, they'll put sanctions on you. Because they know that with these sanctions, you as an African leader, you won't be able to survive. You won't be able to execute your dreams or your plans for your people. You won't be able to build a school. You won't be able to create jobs. You won't be able to do 1, 2, 3, 4 things. So your hand will be tied. And then you'll be obliged to go back to this same Western in order for you to go there and start negotiating with them. That's what they've been doing all this time. So when you go to negotiate with them in order for them to relieve these sanctions against you, that is when now they'll have that power. I mean the total power to influence their leadership on your government. They will tell like, okay, fine, in order for you, for us to remove these sanctions against you, you will have to do this, you'll have to do that, take that one, put him your prime minister, take that one, put him the minister of mining and what, take that one, do this. They will impose you to do certain things which was out of your agenda. And when they're imposing you the names of all these people, it's because these are their people who will be at their service. They are the same people who go against you soon or later because they have to be able to always have their hands on the minerals which is found inside your borders. Guys, please like this video as we are continuing with this topic. I will really do appreciate that because I want many people to join us so that we can be able to develop more with this topic. So guys, how can US sanctions on Africa have impact on American economy? Well, it's for the simple reasons. And the reason is being that the USA, they don't have all these things that they are bragging about around the world. Yes, they can be in possession of nuclear bombs. Yes, they can invent 1, 2, 3 things. They can go to the moon. They can do this and that. Yeah, good. But are them the one in possession of all the material things which they had used in order for them to fabricate whatsoever they are busy fabricating? Because these materials, it comes from somewhere. And we all know that it comes from Africa. To show you that their heart lays in Africa, see how jealous the USA gets whenever they see other nation or other country try to come in Africa. If you are from Russia, you want to do business with Africans, well, it's a problem. If it is Iran, it is a problem. If it is a Venezuela, it's a problem. So any country which want to do business with Africa, they don't want that. They don't want the uranium of Niger to be sold to countries such as Iran, because for them they found it that it is a big threat for them. Because once Iran start buying this uranium from Niger, the next things they'll be able to develop their nuclear bomb projects. And if they get one, well, they'll also have something to threaten the government of USA. Remember, I always tell you that nuclear bomb is just like when you are seated in a group of people and here comes someone who just raise up a pew-pew and pointing it on you. All of you, no matter how muscular you are, no matter how powerful you are, no matter how strong you believe you are, you'll have to bow down. You'll have to obey to their commands because they got a pew-pew in their hands. Any small mistake, they can pull the trigger. And once they pull the trigger, well, we all know what will be the outcome. And once the bullet is off, the bullet does not look how handsome you are or how beautiful you look. Once the bullet goes, it goes off. So the kind of humility people will have whenever they kind of like dealing with this kind of matters, when they're being pointed a gun by someone, you'll see that it is something which will humble you no matter how strong you are. And that's what the Western and each and every country around the world which have this nuclear bomb, they usually do. They'll come and tell you everything like that, and then this and that, so that at the end of the day, if you want to challenge them, they'll tell you that, hey, we have something that we can destroy your entire country, we can wipe you off from the map. That is the reason why they don't want any country in the world to do business with Africans. But let us stop there for a second. Tell me something, guys. What is holding Africa or African countries to have their own nuclear projects? Why Africans, we don't build our own nuclear bombs? Because according to all the research out there, it shows that the materials that these people, they fabricate all these nuclear projects, it comes from Africa. Yet Africa, we don't have it. How many satellites do we have in Africa that you know? Because as far as I remember, it was only Muammar Gaddafi who came up with an initiation of telling African leaders that no, Africa should have their own satellites. And this satellite, it will be at the service of Africans only. Not these things of African countries to go and start renting satellite from the Western. Because we all know that when you rent a satellite from these people, they'll be spying on you. They have all your information. They get to know who called you, who did you call, what did you guys spoke about, what is your plans and everything. They know everything because they're spying on you. Let me give you a very easy example. In Nigeria, since 2010, there is a rebellion group which we all know called by the name of Boko Haram, right? That terrorist group until today is still there. The government of Nigeria, regardless of how many leaders they have changed, yet they are unable to discover or to finish these rebellions, Boko Haram. Why? They'll say that no, these people that are unfoundable, especially you can maybe come across their troops, but you can't come across their leaders. Yet you'll be sitting on your TV and then you'll see someone who come from UK to do a full interview with the leader of Boko Haram. This leader, which is well like known, that everyone is searching for him. They'll come to do that interview. They'll go back to America or British. They'll publish this interview by their social media or TV medias, such as like a BBC. You'll watch it. So ask yourself a question. How do they know where these rebellion leaders they've been hiding if they don't use the same satellite to spy on Africans? And with all this information they get through their satellite and everything, why they don't take it and bring it to the government of Nigeria and say that, guys, yes, we are aware that it's been for some time we've been looking for this man. Here is his location. He lives here. According to our results, we saw him, he slept in this house. And the government of Nigeria, they can go and deal with him. Why that is not the case? And these are the things which Muammar Gaddafi stood against by reminding African leaders that no, we need to be having our own satellite, our own way of communications. We don't need to be depending on these people. We don't need to be renting their stuff, because the sooner we rent their stuff, they are doing everything. Another easy example I want to give you. Take Google. Yes, it is a very beautiful search engine that connects you from the world. But do you know that these people, they can find you so easy and take care of you, whether it is in a silent way or in any way possible? Because they are always coming up with these terms and conditions, which they will come and tell you that no, in order for you to use our platform, you need to accept terms and conditions. Us also, majority of us black people, since we don't want to read, and these people, they already wrote a bunch of long terms and conditions. You just look at them like, I get it. I don't have enough time for me to go and lay here and start reading these terms and conditions. So what should I do? I should just click on it, accept rules and conditions, and then, okay, you click on it, but do you know what you are clicking on? Do you know what you have accepted to? Because most of these terms and conditions, they are actually imposing you things which they know that if you have to sit on your own, you will never gonna accept to click that accept agreement, I mean. So once you accept like that, it's gonna be too late, because they'll be busy collecting your data. Everything you do in your device, they are monitoring you. They are watching you even more closer, because you are using their platform. So my question is, with all the natural resources we have in Africa, with all the mineral that we have in Africa, why can't we also invent our own things? Why can't we, for an example, be like China or Russia, who they've been challenging this Western for some times now? Do you know that Chinese, they have their own Google as a search engine? Do you know, are you aware about that? Are you aware that Chinese, they have their own WhatsApp, which they call something like a WeChat? Because if you go in China, they don't have WhatsApp. Even if there's WhatsApp there, it is not that popular. Do you know that in China, with their phones and other stuff, there are certain phones you can't find Google inside. They have their own Google. Why they did so? Because they know to whom they're dealing with. They're not dealing with these individuals who had invented this app. No. Because the truth is that whenever this app become popular, what usually happens in most of the case, the government will come in. And when they come in, because they know that this is something which is representing our nation, so let us look after it in order for us to dominate the world. That's the reason why you see each and every app that comes to the world, the moment it starts trending, The US, they're the first one to jump in the front line to send someone to buy it. WhatsApp, it was invented by someone else. What happened? We saw Facebook went and bought WhatsApp. Instagram, it was invented by someone else. We saw some Facebook went again and bought Instagram. And do you know how they usually buy all this, or how they usually make this kind of deal? It's not that the owner, they're tired of this app in order for them to sell it. No. These people that are coming to you, they'll evaluate the whole money that you have already on that app. For an example, if you already become maybe a millionaire, a billionaire, maybe you are having 10 billion or 25 billion, then they'll come and give you 25, even 30, say that, okay, here's the money. They make an offer so that you let go of that. And when they make that offer, they're expecting only one answer from you, which is to accept their offer, collect your money, go and invest it in something else, and leave this app for them. Because if you try to resist, if you try to refuse against them, they'll make your life very hard, to the point that you can even end up losing all your subscribers or followers, and you'll drop down and you just disappear like that. That's even the reason you see some of the app back in days, which used to trend a lot, this app, they were all shut down, all just because the Americans want to buy this app, but the owners with their government, they had refused. So now they'll be using the Google and what, they'll make sure that your app does not be promoted in other countries, because they know that if this app continue to be the way it is, this will be a very big threat for them. Do you guys still remember what the government of America did in order for them to go and buy TikTok? And what happened? Chinese also, they refused to sell it. They're like, no, this is an app which belongs to a Chinese. Since you guys want to buy him off, Chinese, they went on, they buy the whole entire TikTok. Now it belongs to the Chinese government. Now, since this incident took place, do you know what else the American did? Isn't it we saw how they went in the Senate, they were busy questioning now, they trying to vote a motion which they can remove TikTok in America, because according to them, they're accusing TikTok that no, it is busy spying on American politics and busy collecting some data from Americans' activities around the country. Why am I saying all this? It's just to tell you that, no, guys, people are fighting for Africa with its mineral resource. Yet us as Africans, who are supposed to be opening our eyes in order for us to understand exactly how important this mineral resource play a role in our life, we're not there. We are so distracted. I said, why don't we have our own satellite, for an example? Why don't we have invent our own aeroplanes? Today, the world, they are talking about driving a car without petrol, which means they are talking about electrical cars. And these electrical cars, in our next videos, guys, I've developed a lot on how these people, they get to invent it, and they're using African minerals in order for them to make these electrical batteries. But as the owners of these minerals, which play such a big roles in electrical cars, yet we don't have cars which we invent on our own. Actually, we still even buying the car from them. This car we are buying very expensive. You guys saw how they're killing people in DR Congo, all because they want to collect these minerals in order for them to go and invent iPhones and Microsoft. But the question is, why the Congolese government or any other African government can't take this mineral to invent our own iPhone? These people that are coming in, they're collecting our minerals pure as it is. They will take it aboard. By the time they finalize with their merchandise, you will not even gonna want to hear the price. Recently, I was making some research on iPhone 16 Pro Max. Guys, 15 Pro Max in the United States of America, it is 1,600 US dollar. Probably, estimately around that price. We can say 1,500 something US dollar. So if we put it in rand, we're talking about 28 to 30,000, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Actually, 27 to 30,000 rands. That is the South Africa currency. You can try to calculate it in your own local currency, depending from which country you are watching us from. But the same iPhone, and here I'm talking about iPhone 16 Pro Max, 1 TB, right? In other words, gigabytes. The same phone in South Africa, it costs more than 44 to 45,000 rand. While in America, it is less than 30,000, but in South Africa, it is more than close to 50,000. Why so expensive? So they're kind of like selling it even times 2. Yet the minerals which they had fabricated these phones with, it comes from Africa. So should we not get to question ourselves about this kind of questions? When we see these kind of things, don't you think that we have even big reasons why we should try to understand what is going wrong here? What's going on here? How come these people that are coming here, they are taking this mineral at a very cheap price? You guys saw recently, again, in this country, DR Congo, DRC, a mountain which collapsed, and it had full of cobalt, the pure one. We also, that video went viral, and through the comments you could see that everyone are not happy for that fact, because this mountain have just revealed a secret which will motivate the Western, this same America, in order for them to come again and be like, okay, you guys, you are here, you're not respecting human rights, you're not doing this, you're not Democrat. They'll come up with something in order for them to get easy access within your country. And they'll go for that mountain. Because imagine if a mountain which got collapsed, it had revealed such many minerals. What about the whole neighboring or the minerals which are hiding under the ground? Obviously, now they'll have to go and start now digging all over, because they can tell that, okay, if this mountain, it was covering this much, what about the minerals which are under the ground? Now, all these things, it is happening when Africans were so distracted out there. The time we're supposed to be inventing our own cars, our own batteries, our own iPhones, our own aeroplane, our own satellites, or our own nuclear bombs, we are not there. What they have done, they actually colonize our mind. They give us something like a toy to distract us. You know, when a child is crying too much, do you know what parents usually do? They'll give this child something like a toy so that it can keep them busy while they're busy also with something else. And in Africa, especially African youth, these people, they have distracted us. They have made us become drunkards. They make us not go to school so that we can get to understand all these things. They make our life become useless. We're still in Africa. I don't want to talk about Europeans because I don't know how their culture works. But have you seen Africans, when we get our salary, let's say for an example, those who get their salary on the 25th, right now, if you go to them and tell them that, okay, how much are you still having from your previous salary? Do you have an idea what will be their answer? Because myself, I saw someone who posted something on a WhatsApp status. Of course, she was a lady. She photo screen a bank statement and showing on how her account is being already be empty in such short period of time. The money, dororo. She does not even know where the money, how the money got to finish. And if we know very well, It is all about alcohol, enjoyment, grooving. Those are the things which we've been distracting ourselves from. When we're supposed to be thinking more far, it's all about music, drinking, dancing, having sex, and that is it. That is it. Now, guys, tell me something. With this kind of mentality, like me or not, if you totally agree that what I'm saying, it makes sense, well, express yourself in the comments. I was saying that with this kind of mentality, with this kind of behaviors, how are we going to develop Africa? How are we going to gain our right to our minerals? Because we're so distracted. It's all about dancing, playing, whether it's Afrobeat, whether it's Amapiano, whether it is Kwasa Kwasa, whether it is a Ndombolo, whether it is it's all about dancing, drinking, get drunk, have sex, and that is it. We're not thinking to ask ourselves deep questions with our conscience, such as, what took the owner of Facebook to invent Facebook? What took Bill Gates in order for him to become a billionaire? What did they do? What was their secret? We see Chinese, they are taking over this world with technologies. They are doing crazy, amazing things. They are now even dominating the world's market. But everything these people they've been using or fabricating, the minerals comes from Africa, isn't it? The mineral comes from Africa, but yet us as the owners of these minerals, we are not making benefit of it. We are letting these people coming in, fooling us with some few laborings, or maybe signing some stupid contracts, and then they'll collect all these minerals. They'll live like that at cheap price as it is. They go with it, and then tomorrow they'll come back with the finish up merchandise. They'll charge you the price of their choices, and you accept. Africans, we are so distracted to the point that even our own children, we don't know how to initiate them in certain things which can make them build or develop Africa tomorrow. Look at, for an example, Chinese. A baby who's still like 1 year old, you see a baby doing amazing, crazy things, and their parents are there to support them. What about Africans? We don't have time for that. If your child come today and say that, no, Daddy, I have the passion to do 1, 2, 3, 4. That's because you believe that, this is a waste of their time. You're never going to support your child. You'll shut their dreams off. Africans were so distracted without forgetting the fact of going to church. Church every day. God, 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 God. But yet, we're still suffering. We're still suffering. Instead of us waking up so hard, instead of us taking our mineral resource to develop Africa continent, we're there, we're distracted. We're doing things differently. And this is now having a serious impact on us soon or later. So Africans, we seem to be having serious problem on that. The day we'll understand this, the day we'll change our way of thinking, the day we'll start dreaming of saying that, okay, how can I stop the gold of Burkina Faso to go in the Western and make use of it here, right here in Africa continent? Take it maybe somewhere in Tanzania, fabricate something there and supply it around Africa continent. The day we'll come up with those kind of ideas, well, that would be the downfall of the Western. So, what is giving the US courage or power in order for them to come and impose their sanctions on Africa? It's because they know that we are so distracted. It is because they know that we are not mind open. We don't know the importance of what we are having under our ground. So they are coming with these sanctions to threaten us, and then we'll just accept and obey to their commands. Because as I said earlier, once you have these sanctions, You as a president of the republic, you as a leader of a nation, you won't do much. You get stuck. You must be a very powerful country such as Russia to defend yourself and resist it. But otherwise, it will affect you in one way or other way. Take example of Zimbabwe. Take example of many countries around the world that you know who've been going through these sanctions. You can try to resist it, but deep down, it's going to have a serious impact on you. And African leaders, once they get hit by that impact, they always try to make a move to go in back of to the Americans. I'll say, you know, I think it's about time you remove these sanctions, blah, 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 blah. Them also in return will be like, okay, you want to remove these sanctions? No problem, but these are our conditions. And once you accept their conditions, they're stuck. Now imagine the day when Africans will stand together as a united Africa to say no to this kind of behaviors that the West they have toward Africans. The day when Africans will put their power together to say that, okay, what is the military, we are going to have one army. What is the economical, we are going to do our economy business among ourselves. We don't need Europe, we don't need France, we don't need British or America. Can you imagine how it's going to, all this is going to affect the American economies? It's going indeed to affect their economy because they don't have all these things within their borders. These things belong to Africans. And that's what is scaring them. That's why now they don't understand what is going on. With these new African revolution leaders who are standing up from different places around the world, who are busy trying to revolt the African youth to understand that we can do it without these people. It's what has become a very big threat for them. It's what has made them feeling like, okay, we rather even try to impose even more sanctions on each and every African leaders that does not want to work for us. So Africans, I strongly believe that we need to stop these things of behaving like little babies, like getting distracted ourselves in things that we're supposed not even to be distracting from the beginning. We need at least to understand that we are on our own and we should take our full responsibility if we really want to succeed out of all this. I believe this message is very important for you or as well as Africans around the world, depending from where you are watching us. If you believe that what we said makes sense, well, that's good. Drop also your comment in the comment section. Tell us what you think about this topic. But above all, make sure that you like this video. Give us your thumbs up. It will really motivate us to continue making this kind of video for you, to continue making having this kind of debates with you guys. So above all, don't forget to subscribe. I think that will be all for now. Continue to be yourself. Be good, be kind. Have respect in order for you to be respected. I'll see you again very soon in our next video. Ciao, ciao.